So, hi, Alex.
Hello, Ed.
How you doing?
All right, man. Good. Yeah, good.
We're here, third day of Studio Stecca. This is the first year that you've been here.
Yeah,
What do you think so far, I suppose?
it's very much how I hoped it would be. It's essentially just a playground for musicians to get together, and it's very loose, and there's no real structure as such, which is great. So it's just about it's just about making music in a very relaxed environment, and that's a very big part of being creative. It's like the element of cutting yourself off from worries or concerns or everyday life. So it feels like a holiday, which is, it's good. It's nice in terms of it's like, honestly, the best thing is just conversing with people, just chatting, and sometimes you're talking about music and sometimes you're just talking about whatever. But it's that atmosphere of just conviviality, if you like, or just sort of, it's just a nice, friendly atmosphere. And if you do want to work with someone, then it's fine if you find out you've got a common interest. Like I found a guy here, Martin, who's a cellist, and he's like really into playing modular synth and cello. So things like that, unusual collaborations are possible. The best attitude you can take coming into something like this is just one of open to learning, because that's really what it's all about. So it's finding out from other people what their angles on something are, and some people have such different approaches to music and ways of thinking. This is the two modular guys here, Patrick and Mark Verbos. So speaking to them about synthesis from quite a purist angle, it's quite interesting. And we're surrounded by amazing instruments in this room as well. So I'd really like to speak to the person whose room this is and find out, because I'm really quite interested in these sort of a lot of weird Middle Eastern string instruments. So it's all a learning process, isn't it? It's the nice thing about it. Or playing on the modular last night, like I only got a tiny setup, so it's quite interesting. If you see the way someone else patches, the way someone else uses things, it's a very good way of turning the ego off, And some people find that easier than others, but it's that letting go. It's that not appearing to be more knowledgeable than you are, or appearing to be an expert in something. It doesn't matter, It's all about it's about being open and showing your weakness, and you can't hide that in an environment like this. You can't be like, you can't pretend to be amazing at something when you're not. So it's good because it puts everyone on a level playing field. Everyone's got weak spots, everyone's got strengths, and it's all about just being open and enjoying other people's strengths and trying to learn from them. And if you've got some, then other people will ask you, and it just comes out very naturally,
In terms of like gear, was there like specific things that you knew were here that you wanted to get your hands on, or?
Yeah, you know what, the general rule for life, the things you think you want, they're always the things when you actually get them and they're like, you realise there's something unexpected, which is probably, so I did kind of come with an open idea that I wouldn't come with any preconceptions. I wanted to play with the Roland System 700 because, it's a classic and all that, but really when it comes down to it, I'm not a big gear freak. I've found synths here, which I've been playing with, which have been amazing, really very inspirational, but they're not the things I would have heard about or thought about. So because I make a lot of different styles of music, I didn't really want to come with any idea of whether I'd work on Alex Smoke material, whether I'd work on dance floor stuff with other people, or whether I'd record, as I say, like a cello and work on that kind of stuff, or whether I would just record synths which I can't get hold of at home and just record random ideas. So I think it'll be a combination of all those things. I'll do some recording with the cello, and I'll maybe come up with some ideas of how to use that in an electronic environment, and also recording synthesizers which I don't have access to, like the Jupiter 6 and Jupiter 8 and a Syrinx, Synton Syrinx, which is quite an unusual synth.
And so what are you using as your main DAW and sequencing?
I use Logic still, but I can see the writing on the wall there, because I'm reluctant to go the the Apple route where you're tied into this endlessly self-updating quagmire, which nags you until you have to update, and then everything stops working, all that pish. So I'm going to have to jump at some point. I'm putting it off because I'm not ready to jump, but yeah, I use Logic.
It's always kind of a bit of a it's I think once you start the move to something else, it's all right, but the actual thought of doing it can be, because it's just changing your whole production process, right?
And part of me thinks, well, part of me knows that's a good thing. You know, you throw yourself out of your comfort zone, and you create things in a different way. Like if I use Ableton, I use it to play live, obviously, but if I used Ableton to produce with, then it would obviously push my production in a different direction, because I'd be working much more with audio, so I don't know. It can be a good thing, but yeah, there's a bit of dread about it as well.
And are you DJing or playing live at the festival?
Playing live,
okay.
Yeah.
So what is your kind of live setup?
It depends where I'm playing and what sets I'm doing. At the moment, I'm doing a few different versions to do. One's more like down tempo with visuals and AV show, and a bit more esoteric, and then the other one's more like a straight up banger. So it depends. I use Machina, Native Instruments, which is my main drum machine, and I sometimes take my modular with me, but just a very small setup. I think I'm going to start taking that to every gig now, but just with a sort of basic drum synth, essentially, like a few drum modules and maths. And what else do I use? Even if I'm doing vocals, which I do for the more esoteric show, then I use an Eventide pedal. And
do your own vocals? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, amateur night, but fuck it, at least I'm in control.